All right, good morning. How is everyone? Yes, welcome week before Earth Day. It's a big deal in the environmental world. Earth Day is like our New Year's Eve, New Year. I don't know what to explain. It's just like the biggest day of the year. And it's now Earth Weekend. So just a reminder that the Montgomery County Department of Environmental Protection hosts something called Green Fest. We have 2 Green Fests this year. One is in Brookside Garden, that's on Saturday, and the second one is going to be in downtown Wheaton, and that's going to be on Sunday. So 2 opportunities, a little bit of different focus for the different locations. One's like things that you can do outside, and the other one's things that you can do in your home. So it should be fun. My name is Larissa Johnson. I'm the Residential Energy Program Manager for Montgomery County Department of Environmental Protection. And it's my job to make sure that residents know how they can lower their energy costs, they can use energy more efficiently, switch to renewable energy, know about energy assistance programs that are available, and answer all of your questions, well, most of your questions around electrification. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We have a presentation. So I should also say Earth Day is our big day. And then right behind that is October. October is not usually, since 1992 has been proclaimed Energy Action Month. Did anyone know that? No, since 1992, George H.W. Bush proclaimed that the month of October would be known as Energy Awareness Month originally, and then through time, it's turned into Energy Action Month. So you already know about it. Now, what do you do about it? So that's the idea there. And energy is just one of those things that we don't really think about until we get a high electricity bill or the electricity goes out, right? How many of you pay your electricity bills online? Like automatically, they just get debited, like you don't even pay attention. Yeah, that's most of us. All right, who actually looks at their electric bill every month? Oh, wow, okay, I'm impressed with you. Who has solar panels? What is this? Oh, okay. All right, so solar panels. Who has an electric car? Oh, sort of. Oh, okay. I love these sort ofs. Yeah, so those are just some of the things, but really what we're going to focus on today is electrifying everything, and not everything, because that's overwhelming, but we have 4 areas that we like to focus on. So we started doing this back in October of 2022, and that's because the Inflation Reduction Act is coming and going to have a lot of money available for us to electrify things. Does everyone know has everyone heard of IRA, Inflation Reduction Act? Yes, you're all aware. All right. So the first thing I want to tell you to do is to go to our website. So if you do have your phone, I'm encouraging you to take out your phone and to go to montgomeryenergyconnection.org. Everything and anything energy related is on that website. The idea of that website is that it acts as a one-stop shop for all things energy. So any questions that you have. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. For those at home, feel free to put it in the chat and someone will read it out for me, hopefully. Yes. So please, I want this to be as interactive as possible. I do have slides. They're boring. So I'm going to try to deviate from them. Yes. Sure. It's montgomeryenergyconnection.org. It's on the last slide, of course, but montgomeryenergyconnection.org. So the reason why I want you to pull that up is because this website has a lot of information. So again, most of us only think about energy when the bill is high or when the lights go out. But there's all different ways to think about energy. So you can think about it in terms of assistance. You can think about it in terms of lowering your bill. You can think about it in terms of renewable energy. And then there's a whole hodgepodge of other things. So there's 4 different tabs on our website. They are help pay my bill, lower my bill, switch to renewable energy, and then I think it's just my bill or something. Understanding my bill. Thank you. And understanding my bill has tons of things. So you can take out your utility bill and there are sample utility bills there so you can compare them so you understand what all those surcharges are. So the very first thing that I want to encourage you to do, if you have not done this, first let me ask, how many of you have done a quick home energy checkup or a home performance audit? We got 1, we got 2, we got 3, we got 4, we got 5, we got 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. All right. Who that has done the quick home energy checkup can tell me what it is? Or the home energy audit? Yes, sir. He said, come to find out where you have the leaks in your house. That is correct. We're all going to get prizes, but you would get the first one. All right. So quick home energy checkup. We never say it's free because you're paying for it every single month. It's a surcharge on your electricity bill. So that's why understanding your energy bill is important, because you'll see there's a whole bunch of little things listed underneath the bill. And Empower Maryland is one of those. Empower Maryland has been in existence since 2009. So since 2009, if you pay an electricity bill, you are paying into the Empower program. And that Empower program was created to help the state lower our energy usage and also to get you all of us to use less energy in our home. So that surcharge is based on how much energy you are using every month. But the idea of some of the programs that they created was to help you use less energy so that surcharge goes down. But that surcharge never goes away. So you want to take advantage of these programs. The quick home energy checkup is at no additional cost. So you just call Pepco, Potomac Edison, BGE. Does everyone here have Pepco? Yeah. Anyone have anything else but Pepco? Yes. BGE. All right. So I'll make sure all utilities provide the quick home energy checkup. So they all the larger utilities, I should say. So if you go to understanding my energy bill, you'll find out that Maryland is a choice state, meaning you get to choose who your electricity supplier is. So sometimes people come door to door, or people call you to switch your electricity supplier. There are 5 that are regulated by the Public Service Commission, meaning they cannot change the rates without permission from the Public Service Commission. Those are Pepco, BGE, Potomac Edison, Delmarva, and SMECO. So those are the 5, and then Washington Gas for gas. Those are the 6 utilities that cannot change your rates without permission. Any of the other suppliers are based on the market, so they can determine their rates daily. So there's a little bit of trick there, especially if you want to buy wind energy or let's say community solar, which is a whole nother presentation that I would have to come and give you. But if you're interested in those, everything is on that website. So you can look up all of the things I'm saying. But I say this because when you go to smaller suppliers, your rates will fluctuate and they are much different than with Pepco or BGE. Also, if you don't have Pepco or BGE, the quick home energy checkup wouldn't be available for you because that's not your electricity supplier. So the quick home energy checkup takes about an hour. They come into your house. They're going to switch out your light bulbs from incandescent to LEDs if you still have incandescent light bulbs. They have different shapes and sizes. So they'll do the globe bulbs in your bathrooms. They'll do the chandelier bulbs. They'll do the, the high bulbs, whatever they have, they'll switch them out. If you have incandescents, they give you high efficiency shower heads, faucet aerators. It's like it's a quick checkup. So it's not very long. It's an hour. And then if you own your home, there's also something called the Home Performance with Energy Star audit. And that takes about 2 to 3 hours. They're going to do the door blower test. They're going to go in your attic, in your basement. They're going to check all your bathroom fans. It's really comprehensive. I will tell you, for my house, I bought my house in January of 2020. And when I did my home performance audit, it took a year because of COVID, but turns out my attic had 3 inches of insulation. It needed 30. So you'll find out when you do the audit. The audit costs $100, but it's worth it because once you do that audit, they're going to give you a report that says, here are the most cost-effective measures to make your home as energy efficient as possible. And it also unlocks $7,500 worth of rebates. The only way you can access those rebates is through the audit. Yes. Good question. How often can you have a home performance audit? As often as you want to pay $100. So I should say it's $100 when they might trick you because it technically costs $400 for the audit, but the Empower program, that surcharge, pays $300 of it. So it should be only $100, but let's say you had one done 5 years ago. It's probably going to be $100 still, but if you had one this year and then you have one next year, they may charge you $400. So just note that. The other thing is you have a year in order to use those rebates. So if you haven't had one, if you had one last year and you didn't do any of the work, they may ask you to do the audit again. Oh man, I should have asked that. Who doesn't live in the wonderful state of Maryland? That's okay. Move. I'm just kidding. There are programs. So Virginia is a tricky state because you only have one utility supplier Dominion. I think they do something similar, or it depends on where you live, because Arlington has a program called Energy Masters, and they have volunteers that do something similar to the Quick Home Energy Checkup. So it depends on where you are. Just put in Google, of course, our handy dandy friend, and you just put in where you live and then energy audits, because they should offer them, but they're not going to be discounted when you don't live in Maryland, unfortunately. All right, so that's the very first thing I want to tell you about is make sure you do a quick home energy checkup or a home energy audit, because that's going to give you the baseline of where you're coming from before you even decide to electrify anything in your house. So this presentation is based on 4 areas. No, yes, no. It's going to be based on 4 areas: electrify your ride, electrify your home, electrify your kitchen, and electrify your yard. And again, you can electrify many things, but we're trying to give you some easier things to do. Yes, sir. Yes. Sure. The question for those at home is, when I talked about electricity suppliers, can I give a short sentence about the choice? And you're in Maryland? Oh, you're in DC. Okay, so here's how it goes. If you go to montgomeryenergyconnection.org, there's a part that says my energy use or understanding my energy usage, and it says everything there. In Maryland, the Office of People's Counsel, I think it is, put together an entire sheet of all of the additional suppliers that you can work with. And there's over 200. So that's a lot of people that could be knocking on your door or calling your house. Which one is better than the other? I'm not allowed to tell you that, unfortunately. I say stick with the big utility suppliers. But if you are interested in wind or any additional solar, then when on our website, you're going to go to learn about renewables, and it says switch to clean energy. So I will tell you, if you're interested in switching to clean energy, then you have to make sure that the company is a Green E certified company. So that's one of the things if you're interested in switching. Again, in Maryland, the 5 utilities and Washington Gas are regulated by the Public Service Commission, so they cannot change their rates without permission. Yes. Yes. Yes, that is. Yes. So he said sometimes people do community solar or wind, one of the third party suppliers. So you're always going to have a Pepco bill. I should have told you that. Whoever your large companies are, wherever you live, BGE or Pepco, you're going to have a bill from them because they're the distributors. They own the transmission lines. So you'll see that on your bill. That's like 5 other presentations about how the electrical grid works, because it's very overwhelming. And I'm not even going to get into that. All right. So electrifying everything. Let's talk about this. So we have these 4 areas and electrify your ride. So the way that we break this down is not to overwhelm you. I give you a 3 money sign or $3 sign option, $2 sign option, and a $0 sign option. Take it, leave it, ignore me, scroll on Montgomery Energy Connection, but no other websites, just that website, because it's full of information. But these are just suggestions. So when we're talking about going electric, here in Montgomery County specifically, we have a program to help you electrify your car or your ride if you would like to. There's dealerships. So if you go to on the website, if you go to electric vehicles, there's a page that will take you to all of the dealerships that have discounts right now or any type of rebate. So there are rebates available specifically in Montgomery County with certain dealerships. That information is there. Additionally, there is federal money for electric vehicles. And then with the Inflation Reduction Act, there's even more money going to be available for electric vehicles. So that's the number one option when we're talking about electrifying your ride, going electric, getting an electric car. Now, that's not an option for everyone. I don't have an electric car. I know, naughty, but my car is 2010. It was made or before 2010, but it's a 2010 model. It still gets good gas mileage. I maintain it. I don't have a car payment, and I'm going to run that thing until it just stalls in the middle of the road someday. So yes. Yeah, go for it. What do you mean? What's my stance? Are they good? Are they bad? Yeah, they're good, especially cost wise and switching over. You're going to do what you can do, really. That's the point. Oh, sorry. She asked, what's my stance on hybrid cars? And as an environmentalist, as the residential energy program manager, go for it. If hybrid is the way that you can go and the way that you're comfortable and what you can afford, yes. Anything closer to electrifying the grid is the way that we want to go. So, do what you can. I should have also said that. This is all about do what you can. And I'm not here to make you feel guilty for the choices that you make. I just told you I have a gas car. She's very good to me though. Her name is Smurfette. She's in the parking lot if you want to check her out. And she's blue. Of course she's blue. And she's a hatchback, so I can fit everything in there. Like, people are always like, there's no way. I fit a freezer in there. I'm telling you, I love my car. So that's what I'm going to tell you, is that there's tons of information for going electrifying your ride, but that's not the only thing that you can do. The next thing you can do, which is the $2 sign, is of course public transportation. Anyone here use Ride On here in Montgomery County? Yes. How much is it a ride? Free? Should be $1. Wow, look at that. It was during COVID, it was free. And then sometime last year, they went back to $1, but it's still a good deal. And if you work for the county, you get to ride for free. So if you want, and if you're a student, yes. So there's that. There's also other programs that are available, like Capital Bike Share. There's there's different programs, so that there's electric scooters, and you can go and find out information on that on the website too, and just find out other ways that you can electrify. There are no incentives for buying an e-bike yet. That would be that's run through the Department of Transportation though. So when you go to our website, that's the other thing I should say. Montgomery Energy Connection is a collection of all this different information, because everything is run by different departments and different agencies. And normally you would have to go and find out where it would drive you bananas. So I tried to put everything in one place for you. So it's all there. Question? Yes. Yeah. Well, that's what it says on our website. Yes. Oh, sorry. What's the definition of clean natural gas, or CNG? So I don't have the exact definition for that, because it is run by the Department of Transportation. This is just the information that is out there about how many of our buses are running more clean than with fossil fuels. Yes. Or with petroleum. Go ahead. Yes. Yeah. So there's lots of information about, or some conversation about natural gas versus petroleum. So it all depends, but it is cleaner, and especially by definitions of county government and government in general, this is a cleaner version. So we're trying to get there. We will have a lot more electric vehicles and electric buses. Montgomery County Public Schools is going to be one of the first school districts in the country to have electric school buses. So that's exciting news. Again, We're not perfect. You know, everything, there's pros and cons to every single thing out there. We're just trying to get closer to making less of an impact. And then of course, number one, the best thing to do is to drive less. Or what I do with Smurfette is when I go out, like today, I do all the errands that I can possibly do in that one day so that I don't have to drive tomorrow or another day this week. So I've already been to Marshall's and HomeSense this morning. Yeah, so that's it. So those are the 3 recommendations for electrifying your ride. Any questions about that? No. Yes. Yes. It's okay. Yes. Okay, so the question is, where does our electricity come from in the state of Maryland? And that is, the question is it from coal-fired power plants? Again, if you go on to understanding the energy, there actually is a breakdown of where we get our electricity. Where do you think we get most of our electricity from in Maryland? West Virginia. Where is our natural homegrown electricity from? Nope, no wind on the offshore yet. That's like a decade off, unfortunately. Nuclear, y'all. We have a nuclear power plant, Calvert Cliffs. So about 32% of our electricity comes from nuclear first, and then natural gas is second, and then coal. So it used to be coal was second, and then natural gas, but that's switched in the recent years. Yes. Yes. So what did you say? What website? Where was it? In the Washington Post? Yeah, had something where you can do this. Again, Montgomery Energy Connection. You can go right there, understanding my energy usage, and it will list it there too, of like what our mix is. And they can tell you if there's a website, EIA.gov, energy, information administration, right? Do you work there? I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm like, my brain, yeah, EIA.gov. If you want to see like daily outputs of energy, but nuclear is number one. I will say altogether, the 3 make up about 89% of our electrical mix. So that means there's only about 11 that's renewable energy. And renewable in the state of Maryland consists of solar, wind, geothermal, hydro. Hydro is our biggest. I should start with hydro. Hydro is our biggest energy supplier, and then biomass. And so biomass is incineration. So we have a waste to energy facility in Montgomery County, and that actually provides a lot of our energy here. So our trash is supplying our electricity, which is, I think, is cool, but yes. 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 Yeah. So the question is, why is it important to electrify the grid when the grid is still running on 89% non-renewable energy sources? It's supply and demand. So the more that we switch over to electrification, the more that the electrical grid will have to go to renewable energy sources. That's the belief over time. Yes. Today, we're not all going to we're not going to electrify everything today, right? Are we? Are you all going to electrify right after we leave here? After we talk about these? No, we're not going to. I just told you I'm not giving up my car and I'm in this world. So we're not all going to electrify. If it happened, that would be amazing. It's not going to. It's going to be in overtime. Like I said, offshore wind. When I first moved to Maryland, I worked on the bill for offshore wind in 2013. They just had to do another bill this year in 2023 to actually get the energy from the wind turbines to land. Like they had to create a law that said it's possible to do that. That's 10 years later, y'all, and we're still like at the same place. So it's going to be another 10 years before those offshore wind turbines are even operational, at least 10 years. So the idea is just let's do the things that we can do now to use less energy overall. Okay. Did I see another hand? No. All right. So the next up is going to be electrifying your home. And here's where the big money is. So this is why I tell you to do that home performance audit, because maybe your home, a lot of people think the thing that they need first is windows. I don't know why everyone's like, oh, I probably need new windows. You probably don't. Windows are not usually what you need. What you usually need is insulation, like I needed in my house, and ventilation. So a lot of times people don't have fans in their attic. How many people have fans in their attic? Oh, you're a good group. Are you trying to remember if you do? Do you have a fan in your attic? All right. Yeah, the circulation system. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Some things, it'll depend on your house, what you need, but it's just getting a baseline understanding. That's why the home performance audit is great. The number one thing that you're probably hearing all about are heat pumps. Heat pumps are they're all the rage right now. All the kids are talking about, just kidding. But heat pumps, there's a lot of information about heat pumps. I am not an expert in heat pumps, so please don't ask me the difference between a split and a this and a that. The beautiful thing is that in Montgomery County, and even if you live in DC or Virginia, because you're part of this community, I'm sure, and because you have this website, montgomeryenergyconnection.org, where there's information there to help you figure this out. And we are going to launch a residential electrification program here in Montgomery County in the next few months, where we're working with one contractor who is an expert in this, and we're going to have a helpline. So again, if you live in DC or Virginia, we're not going to ask you where you live if you have questions on heat pumps, but that's going to be available in the next few weeks. I would say we're at weeks at this point, but there'll be a phone number that you can call and talk to an expert and say, hey, here's my house, here's what I'm looking at, what do you suggest? And of course, get that home energy audit. But there's about to be a ton of money with the Inflation Reduction Act. It says late 2023. So in addition to montgomeryenergyconnection.org, if you go to help pay my bill, scroll down, and it's going to say everything you need to know about the Inflation Reduction Act. On that, there's a calculator by Rewiring America. They're one of my favorite resources in the country. And they have a calculator. You put in your zip code, you put in how many people live in your house, you put in how much money you make. It's just going to spit out what the total incentives that are available for you specifically could be. It's pretty great. But a lot of those incentives are not available yet. So if you can hold off for your heat pump, hold off until the end of the year, when money is going to be available. Also, with that the electrification pilot that we're putting together, the county itself is going to have money to help you electrify your home, and it's going to be based on zip code. So a lot of times the county programs are usually first come, first serve. And those that come to presentations like this are the first ones to participate. So we had to divvy it up so that it's more equitable within the places in the county. So, but it's still first come, first serve in those zip codes. So you already know it's not on the website anywhere. So be excited about that. But there's money for that. So that's your $3 one, because it's costly. It depends. We're going to offer $800, and then there's going to be the rebates from the Inflation Reduction Act as well. Yes. Yes. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So the question is, how long does this take, and what is the inconvenience level? And I have not done it myself. I do have natural gas in my home, but this is like at the top of my list of things to do once I get my husband to just let me do what I want to do. I'm working on it, but I am telling you, we are waiting to see what the Inflation Reduction Act money is going to be, but it is not an easy process. It does take a few weeks. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I do everything else. My and we'll talk about this. Yeah, my thermostat is at the exact temperature it needs to be at. All of the other things I'm doing, it's just a huge undertaking. The cost, and then the construction in your home. Of course, I will tell you though, with the home performance audit, that installation was super easy peasy. It was awesome. So like that didn't take much time at all. That was done in a day. They blew that installation up. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So someone in the audience said that they just had the heat pump and you switch from natural gas to heat pump and it took 2 days. So that's good news. Oh, yes. Yes. Hmm. Yeah. So there is currently money. So someone in the audience was saying that there is currently money for the heat pump switching. Yes, there is through that rebate that I said. So when you do the home performance audit, it unlocks $7,500 worth of rebates. That is part of it is for heat pumps. And so there is money. I'm just saying there's going to be more money in October, like a lot more money. So that's what I'll probably most likely be doing this. All right, the second thing up here is going to be your thermostat. So the beautiful thing is that it's Earth Month. So if you didn't know this, all of our electricity supply or utility suppliers, I should say, HEPCO, BGE, and Potomac Edison, if you go to lower my bill and you go to Marketplace, every utility has a marketplace. Right now, because it's Earth Month, you can get a programmable thermostat for $1. Yeah, they usually, you just bought one, didn't you? Okay. But yeah, it's $1 right now, and it's while supplies last, of course. But they do this usually in October for Energy Action Month, and they do it in April for Earth Month. But again, if you're paying your bill without, automatically, you're not going to see these inserts in the mail that they're getting, or the virtual information about this. But I'm telling you that you can get them at a discounted rate. Even if you don't get it for $1, the marketplace is where I would go for all of the things that I need for my house, even for LED light bulbs, because there's so much more. They're so inexpensive when you go through the utility and they mail them right to your house, because the rebate is taken off automatically. I know you didn't know. Now you know. I know. So that's what I would tell you. See, this is an old slide. And then, of course, the other thing, the zero cost change, is monitor your thermostat. So it's already up here. 68 degrees in the winter, 78 degrees in the summer. You may be like, yuck. And that is a-okay. No one's coming into your house to change your thermostat unless you do the peak rewards program with Pepco, where they actually will do that during certain times of the year. But I'm not going into your house to do that. And the recommendation is 68 degrees and 78 degrees, because that's as close to the outside temperature as you would keep it and still keep your house comfortable. But you may like your house at 72 degrees. Keep it there. The reason why I'm telling you this is because for every degree you deviate from the recommendation, 68 or 78 degrees, for every degree you multiply by 3%. So that could be the increase on your electricity bill. So if you keep your house at 72 degrees in the winter, that's a 4-degree difference between 68 to 72 degrees. 4 times 3 is 12%, 12% increase on your electricity bill. The reverse. So if you're 72 degrees in the summer, that's 6 degrees, 6 times 3, almost a 20% increase on your electricity bill. So that's where those fluctuations occur, is all in your thermostat. So you have the power in your thermostat if you are so inclined. All right, now your kitchen. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. So the question is, what about when you're out of the house? Where should you be setting your thermostat? And the question is, the answer is as close to is comfortable for you. So meaning if you leave your house, the recommendation is 78 degrees, it's going to be warm out and no one's going to be home. You can put it up to 80, right? So then when you're coming home and you put it back down to 78, you're using less energy. The one suggestion I would tell you, and of course I did this, so please learn from my mistake, is I turned off my thermostat when I went to work, like for a solid month, like all the way off. And I had a 1-bedroom apartment in Baltimore County, and then my bill was $350. And when I did the quick home energy checkup, they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, well, I just turned the thermostat off when I leave. And he was like, please don't do that. So you want to keep it at least at something manageable so that it's not bumping up 50 degrees when you get home. It's only going to go up 3 to 5 5 to 8, somewhere around there. Does that make sense? Yeah. And of course, if you're going for long distances for vacation or something, then that's where the programmable thermostat comes in handy because you can monitor from there. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yep. And so that was a suggestion that with the programmable thermostat, you can set it from your phone and say, I want, or wherever it is, you're going to say, I want it to ramp up an hour before I get home. So by the time you get home, it's more comfortable. Yes. Yep. So that is electrifying your home. Again, there's other things that you can do in your home to electrify, but those are the things that we really suggest. And as far as your kitchen, number one is our, why did I freeze? Because I'm going that way. Anyway, induction cooktops. Again, you're probably hearing this all over the place. How many of you have heard about induction cooktops in the last year? Yeah. And especially because a research research paper came out recently about the impacts of gas and asthma levels on children. So there is a negative impact of having gas in the home. Sorry, gas powered ovens. So so that's one of the reasons why you're going to be hearing about induction cooktops a lot. And so we have induction cooking. Now that's not available for everyone. Something that I do, we have an electric oven. I believe it or not, we have an electric oven, but we have natural gas for heating. It doesn't make any sense. But we have an electric oven. Yeah. And we have an induction cooktop. That's just a standalone induction cooktop. And we use that as opposed to turning on our entire oven when we need, or sorry, our entire stove when we need to use it. And it uses less energy. We also have cats, so we don't have to worry about them burning their paws when it's off and things like that, or, you know, kids and touching a hot stove. So there are options out there, and there will be money again in October. Like, well, it just says late 2023 if you look at the Inflation Reduction Act page. So sometime soon. There also, with that electrification pilot, we will have money through the county as well if you're interested in going induction for your cooking as well. Yes. Yes. Is an induction stove an electric stove that has a flat top? Yes. And the beautiful thing with induction is that it only heats up the element that it's heating. So it's not, you know, an electric oven, the entire, what is this called? Coil, but yeah, whatever it is. Stovetop. What is that even called? Anyway, that entire thing gets red. The beautiful thing with induction cooking is that doesn't happen. It only heats up the pot. Oh, yes. Thank you for that question. So the question is are there going to be incentives for upgrading your electrical panel? Yes, and those are available now through the Inflation Reduction Act. Anyway, Inflation Reduction Act. Yeah, you're going to have to upgrade your panel if you want to do a lot of these things, your electrical panel. If you want to add anything, like your houses are only rated for a certain amount of electricity to be used. So yes, there's money right now to do that if you're interested. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh, no. So yeah. So the question is there's $3 signs, but when you buy the plug-in ones, they're not that expensive. You can get it. And then are there pans that work only? Yes. And here's what we ask you to do. We have the magnet test. If you have a magnet, just take one of your refrigerator magnets, and if it sticks to your pan, that can be used with an induction cooktop. So that's how you test. Yes. 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 Correct. Yeah. Yes. So the comment is that if you have a gas stovetop and you decide to get an induction cooktop, a plug-in one, your gas stove has the potential to still leak even when you're not using it. So yes, there will be money to switch over from your gas to induction. So that's the $3 sign. That's if you want a cooktop and a stove. But if you want just a plug-in one, like if you have electric and you just don't want to waste energy, then it's less than $70. So yes, uses gas. Yes. So the question is, was I talking about replacing the whole of the stove and the oven? And yes, that's why this is the $3 sign. So if you're interested in upgrading if you're trying to get rid of gas and you want to go induction, it costs a lot of money. That's why it's a $3 sign. But if a short-term option, if you have electric, is to get the stove, just the plug-in. That's an option. If you have for cooking, I'm saying. If you have gas, you should either go electric or induction eventually over time. Does that make sense? The cooktop, the small one, the cooktop really looks like that picture. It's really just one. Yeah. I put it on the counter. Mine is on the counter in the corner next to my stove, and then I just pull it out when I'm doing quick stuff. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 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 So someone in the audience actually just went induction and is raving about it. Says you can do air fry and all of the things. And how long was the process and did you have gas before or electric? Okay, so you did it. And how long was the process to switch it out? Yep. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I asked how long it took it. A long time, but so worth it. So worth it. Yeah. My supervisor at Department of Environmental Protection has just just redid her kitchen. And it was supposed to be, I think, like a month, and it's been like 3. So it just takes a long time to do these upgrades. It's all the things, the electrical panel and getting the electrician in, getting this in, like it does takes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he said you reach boil with the induction cooktop within 30 seconds. Yes. And I keep saying induction cooktop, but that's just because I'm thinking of the stove, but you can get induction oven as well. Yeah. So it's expensive unless you just do the short-term one. And then the next up is, so the other thing is toaster oven, air fryer. So that's the second one. Second dollar sign. And the idea there is it's only available, like that's only an option if there's only a few people in your house or you're not cooking a lot, right? But if you have an oven and you're cooking for 4 people, use your oven. But for myself, it's myself and my husband. We use our toaster oven for pretty much everything because it's just easier and less hot, and it's just all the things. So that's one of the other things that you can do in your kitchen, switching from you're using your oven, especially if it's a gas oven, to your toaster oven, which is plugged in. One of the things that you're going to get today is a power switch is what it's called. And for those at home, you are more than welcome to have everything that I'm going to show. You just have to email me energy@montgomerycountymd.gov your address so I can mail it to you. But this is a single item power switch. So if you think about it, it's basically it's a light switch for your appliances. So technically we should be unplugging our toaster oven, our coffee maker, all of those small gadgets. We should be unplugging when we're done using them. How many of us do that? Okay, 3, 4. Okay, 4 people. For the rest of us, you're going to get one of these, and you can always purchase these yourself, but these are just a single item power switch. So I have this with my coffee maker. You just turn it on and off. It's a lot easier, except for not for my husband doesn't think they're easier because he'll put on the coffee maker and walk away and the switch will be turned off. So then, he just wasted all that time thinking the coffee was being brewed and it wasn't. But if you're using it the way that you should, if you're using it that way, it is a lot helpful. And so the other thing on MontgomeryEnergyConnection.org, there's on my energy usage, if you scroll down, it says, how much does it cost? And that tells you how much Pepco, BGE, and Potomac Edison, based on their 2022 rates, it's going to tell you how much everything in your house costs per month. So for instance, I'm going to do your refrigerator, and I forgot our refrigerator thermometers. Okay, but your refrigerator, so that's the third thing in your kitchen to electrify your kitchen, is make sure your refrigerator is running as efficiently as possible. How do you do that? You keep it at the temperature. You're going to keep it between 35 and 40 degrees. A lot of us don't have Energy Star or smarter refrigerators, so you don't know what temperature that is. So that's why the refrigerator thermometer is a great tool to have, because it will help you keep that refrigerator at that temperature. The reason why I tell you this, if you go to that, how much does it cost? Most refrigerators, if they don't tell you what temperature they are, they cost about $14 a month to run. That's just because they have to be plugged in all the time and they have to remain cool. When you have an Energy Star, that goes down to about $4 a month. But if you're not if you're not trying to buy a new refrigerator anytime soon, it's just, you want to make sure that it's running at that optimal temperature, 35 to 40 degrees. Anything lower than that, you have a refrigerator freezer. Anything warmer than that, you can run the risk of spoiling your food. So that's what you want to do. So I just tell you that because everything that's plugged in is drawing energy unless it has a switch. Does that make sense? So even if it's off, it's still drawing energy, just like your gas stove is still releasing methane into the air. Okay, the next area, and I don't know if the clicker is working, is going to be electrifying your yard. And this was meant specifically for October, but here we are again in the spring when you're probably doing a lot of lawn care. So the big item is going to be purchasing an electric lawnmower, leaf blower, anything of that nature. But that costs a lot of money. So maybe you don't want to do that. No, you don't think it costs a lot of money? It's all relative, but it costs money. It does cost money. Whereas number two, if you rake your leaves or sweep your leaves, you just have to buy the broom. And they also have lawn sweepers. Does anyone here have a lawn sweeper? It's this really fun, it's like this really cool, you have to Google it. It's this really cool item, and it just like combs your leaves and like the dead grass and stuff. I mean, I think it's cool. Maybe it's not. And then, of course, the zero cost thing that you can do in your yard is to leave the leaves or leave the grass so it can break down and create habitat for those cute little critters. So those are the options for that. The other items I'm going to give you today, so you're going to get the power switch. You're also going to get a wall plate thermometer. So this is really helpful. It's a wall plate thermometer and hygrometer. So it's going to tell you the humidity in your house as well, because that's really important to know. And it's super easy to install, y'all. You just unscrew and put this on. And it's going to tell you your temperature, which should be what temperature right now as we get into the summer? Yes, 78. A few other items we have, and I didn't even mention this because we were talking about electrification, but the other thing that we have power over is our water usage. So a lot of times you're paying for your water. And so it's one of those double whammies, especially showers, because you're going to pay to heat the water. And so if you have teenagers or, people who just like to spend a lot of time in the shower, you're going to get a 5-minute shower timer. Unfortunately, it doesn't kick anyone out. And all you have to do is flip it over to get another 5 minutes. He said to electrify the shower to shock people. We will not be sending you those. And then the other thing that you're going to get today is a toilet tank bank if you would like one. Again, if you are at home, you will just email me. I do believe the next one has my email address, energy@montgomerycountymd.gov. I will mail you this stuff. The toilet tank bank is great because it's instead of buying a low flow toilet. You don't need a low flow toilet. You just need this. Please don't put a brick in your toilet. That's the old school use of doing this. The brick will crack the porcelain, so you don't want to use this. I know a lot of times people also use like water jugs or old milk jugs. Those will deteriorate because they are not meant to be submerged in water. So that's another reason why we have this. And yeah, so these are some of the items you will be getting today. And of course, they all come in your handy dandy reusable shopping bag so that you don't have to pay 5 cents when you get that plastic bag. Also, my email address is there. If you go to a store and they don't charge you 5 cents, let us know, because that helps to pay for all the storm management programs in Montgomery County. So I have to tell on people a lot, because I'll go to the store and I'm like, I don't need it. They're like, do you need a bag? No, thank you. Oh, I won't charge you. And I'm like, I'm like, no, I'm like, now I have to tell on you. I'm like, come on. But yeah, these are awesome. And so you will get this, and all you have to do is email me if you would like it, or you can pick it up today. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So the question, well, the comment was the fact that when you upgrade your lighting system, and I didn't even get into lighting, that's a whole nother presentation, but you want to switch to LEDs immediately. One, because incandescent light bulbs, you're essentially burning money, really, because you're incandescent light bulbs, 90% of the energy goes to heating that bulb, only 10% to creating light. So you want to get rid of that. And then compact fluorescents contain mercury, so they can't be thrown in the trash. So you have to recycle them by bringing them to the transfer station or to a store like Strauss Snyder's or Lowe's. But the cost of switching to LEDs, especially when you want dimmables or anything fancy, it means you have to hire an electrician, and that costs money. And then, so the question was, are there enough electricians out there to support this? Yes, there are. They may not have the exact knowledge, so you may have to help them, like why you're switching to this or why you're doing that. But yes, there are enough. And again, through the electrification program, there will be a contractor that has a helpline, so you can always call them and ask them any questions you have. Again, everything and anything is on that website, montgomeryenergyconnection.org. My website, my email address is energy@montgomerycountymd.gov, and I am available to answer your questions. But thank you all.